everyone, welcome to my video. Today I'm going to be talking all about my course at Montfort University, which is a BSc with honours in psychology. I chose to study psychology because I've always been the person that's wanted to help other people, but I'm far too squeamish to be a doctor or a surgeon or a dentist. I think psychology is a lot more interesting for me personally. I just really find it fascinating to understand how the mind works and how people behave as a result of the mind. I really find it fascinating. I always have, and I'm really glad I found a subject that will help me get into the healthcare system without having to be a straight doctor, which I wouldn't be able to do because I faint at the sight of blood. I chose DMU for multiple reasons. I came to the open day and I could just imagine myself here, and I'd been to lots of open days before I'd been to the DMU one, and they just didn't give me that excited feeling that I had when I came here. It's perfectly placed for me because my mum lives in Durham and my dad lives in Oxfordshire, so it's somewhere in the middle. The accommodation is great, everything is within walking distance of each other, the lecturers are brilliant, the content is so interesting. You get to do so many exciting opportunities that I don't think you're able to do at other universities. I first heard about it when I was doing dance at A-level, and I heard that Akram Khan went here and we studied Akram Khan. I think that's what sort of put DMU in my head to start with. Obviously I'm not doing dance. It just made me want to look around here. I'm so glad I did. I also came to the applicant day and that fully confirmed that I wanted to go here. I remember getting my offer through on UCAS and I screamed in the middle of tutor and everyone went silent. My favourite part of the course are the workshops because they are much smaller groups. There's about 15 people in them, and it gives you the opportunity to develop close friendships not only with each other but also develop a good working relationship with your lecturer and properly ask them for help. It's a lot easier to ask for help in workshops than lectures because lectures there's about 300 people on my course. So in the workshops I can just easily ask the lecturer a question, obviously relevant to the module they're teaching. The aspect of the course that I personally find most challenging is probably biological psychology, purely because of the number of technical words that you have to learn. It will be easy to learn them, you just have to keep repeating it, which is fine. It's just a lot of long technical words that you have to get right, which we will be able to do, it just takes a lot of practice. I studied psychology at A-level and it does differ at uni. You learn some of the same studies because the studies you do learn at A-level and university are the ones that have had the biggest impact on psychology and psychological research and even just science as a whole. What you do have to learn is a lot more in-depth. The main thing that differs is the statistics side of things. At sixth form you learn very basic statistics, but you have to do it all by hand, whereas here you've got SPSS, which is a technical program that allows you to do it all on there. You still have to have basic knowledge or quite good statistical knowledge, but it just makes things a lot more easier. It draws up graphs for you. It's brilliant. That's probably my favourite thing that differs about psychology at uni to psychology at A-level. I mentioned this briefly before, but by doing psychology at DMU you are offered opportunities that you're not necessarily offered elsewhere. We have this thing called RPS, which is the Research Participation Scheme. I have talked about this on my channel before, but you basically are a participant in third year studies to help them out with their dissertations, and it's so fascinating to just actually be a participant because we've gone this whole journey of studying psychology never actually being a participant in a study, so it gives you a good insight into what it's like, and this is also really helpful for your third year when you are the ones conducting your own study. I'm so excited that I got in here. I am happy. Every day I wake up and I'm like, oh my god, am I actually here? I can't quite believe it, to be honest. Now I'll take you along and show you what my friends think about the course too.
Jeanette,
Lucy,
Shwarya, Charlie.
my favourite part of the course is meeting all of you guys.
definitely the practical world.
Just how engaging it is. You have classes where your lecturers interact with you and you learn about so many different aspects of psychology.
Knowing that I'm working towards the end goal.
It's biopsychology. I find it really difficult to understand.
Definitely biopsychology.
We have to do a lot of independent studying on our own. We didn't really have that back in school, so I think that's a little challenging.
The most challenging part of the course for me is biological perspective for psychology.
Okay, I chose psychology because I want to be a clinical psychologist, so this is just like the most obvious stepping stone.
I don't really know, I've just always been really interested in it, so I might as well do something I enjoy.
I think I wanted to do something in mental health, and I thought psychology was the right way to kind of ease into that field of science.
It's an area of interest that I've had for a long time, but to be able to focus on one particular subject that is going to be relevant to what I'd like in the future is